everybody. I'm Kier Spates, and many of you know me as Junior from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm pleased to welcome you to another episode of Living Your Life. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, my friend, and world-renowned author, medical doctor, and sickle cell expert, my friend, my dude, Dr. Corey Hebert, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, I'm just chilling, but I see something over my
Yeah,
my
what
shoulder.
is that, a treat doing up, man? It's Christmas is over.
That's what I don't want people to think I'm just, wilding out, keeping Christmas trees up. I'm in New Orleans, so we keep our trees up, and then we change our lights to purple and gold because it's Mardi Gras time, baby. Recognize this all.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
You thought I was shiftless. You thought I was just shiftless and lazy.
Yeah, I was like, man, here we are all the way down the calendar. His tree's still up, just like we used to do when we was a kid. Remember, man, the person in the neighborhood kept their lights up year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you was doing. Like, they just plugged in right back in. Ain't that to do nothing.
Yeah, I'm trying to play it off.
Yeah, man. Well, happy Mardi Gras, man. I forgot you in New Orleans. That is big for you. That is big for you. About today's guest, Monica Rockwell was diagnosed with sickle cell beta thalassaemia and congestive heart failure at the tender age of 38. And as an adult patient, she was looking for resources that were very limited and on very short supply. After researching for over 2 years, she learned that patients were known as babies that come and go as they live short lives. Since patients are living longer and productive lives, the medical and pharmaceutical companies are looking for a cure. She created SWGA Sickle Cell Awareness as a patient and patient advocate to raise awareness about the needs of adult patients and the networks. She is a public speaker, consultant, and a mentor. Let's welcome to Living Your Life, and let's hear from Miss Monica Rockwell. How you doing?
I am doing
What's up?
today.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. We are so glad to have you. We are interested. Me and Dr. Hebert have set on this mission, and like I said, you just have an interesting story, and we want to talk about that in terms of your diagnosis, your advocacy, everything you're doing, with your foundation. This is where we just get to figure out what we can do to help you, and you can tell us about what you need. And this is what we do out here. We try to connect everybody. Dr. Hebert, he knows so much. He's already got a Mardi Gras tree up. You see that?
You got jokes. But let me tell you this, though. I know something that's not a joke. Monica, Ms. Rockwell, tell me how you got diagnosed at 38 years old. I mean, because I've been doing this for 30 years, and this one is something. I want to hear this.
Well, in 2013, I was 18 months away from my 40th birthday. So I wanted the ultimate healthy lifestyle. So I began to train for a marathon. That was the only way to stay focused and stay consistent. So I began marathon training. I started out with walking, changing my diet. And after a few weeks of training, I collapsed. And I ended up collapsing at my parents' home, and I started experiencing body aches. And growing up, I used to go to the gym, especially in college, and there was a sign that said, "No pain, no gain." I wasn't diagnosed at the time, and I started feeling a lot of pain in my body, and I felt like I was gaining, not knowing that I had sickle cell disease. I end up, my mom called 911, and they first wanted me to take some muscle relaxers and thought that would help. It did not help. And when they called 911, I ended up in the ambulance, and I stayed in the hospital for 2 months. I had a medical team that ran every test in the medical books that they could.
2 months? You were in the hospital for 2 months?
2 months.
Wow. Okay.
And there were so many different diagnoses. One of the ones I remember hearing was Wilson-Cooley's disease.
Who?
Cooley's anemia. Wilson-Cooley's anemia. Yep.
What is that?
Well, man, let me tell you something. If I ran down the list of anemias that they have, bro, you wouldn't even see. That's the thing. I don't want people to think that sickle cell is the only anemia. They got so many Fanconi's, Cooley's, dude. It's like so many. So that's why they ran all them tests to make sure that they knew exactly which one you had.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you're in here 2 months now. You're in here 2 months now. You've already classed, so now you're in the hospital for 2 months, and you're 38 years old. And then what happens after that? After you're in there for 2 months, how do we get to this diagnosis of sickle cell?
Well, they end up running more tests, and one of my uncles came forward and said that there's a possibility that he could have sickle cell. And they were thinking from one of the things that they did was filtered out my old blood and replace it with new blood. And
Okay.
my
Oh, blood
main
transfusion.
physician was an oncologist hematologist.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to diagnose me with sickle cell.
So
Oh,
you have sickle beta thal plus or zero? Do you know?
Plus,
Plus. Okay. All right. So this is very important for our viewers to hear, right? It's very important. I want y'all to really understand. So when your body is telling you something, you need to listen. Because so many times we think no pain, no gain, but pain is all relative. No pain, no gain really kind of means my muscles are a little bit sore after I work out. No pain, no gain doesn't mean that I'm about to pass out. And you have to listen because people slip through the cracks all the time. We test everybody for sickle cell, but that testing stuff gets it's not like the test is really inaccurate. It's just somebody still got to pick up your blood, put it in a van, take it to another place. What if they switch it out? What if they don't? The error is possible. So I want you to remember that if you are not feeling well and your bones are hurting and you ask your family, does anybody in my family have sickle cell? Go to your hospital and your state and see what was your sickle test before, like at birth. And then go get tested again if you feel uncomfortable, because I'm telling you, there's so many people out here right now with sickle cell trait that are living with this and they don't know that it could be a problem, especially, and then people actually with sickle cell disease, that beta thal plus, and actually hemoglobin SS, hemoglobin SC, all these things you would know if it's SS, but some of those other ones you may not know. So I'm just so glad you're here to really tell that story.
yeah, because it gets even. Is this the other part too? It's just now you get diagnosed with sickle cell, and then you're 38 years old. How did they miss this? For you to be 38 and just discover this, how did they miss this? This is what's puzzling to all of us.
well, growing up, I've been in and out of the hospital. One of the diagnoses in pediatrics was bronchitis, but I really never was treated for bronchitis. And I was often in and out of a hospital. I moved in several different places. I've lived in Alabama, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in Tennessee, and when I got sick, I just went to the emergency room. And what they were doing was treating the symptoms. Treat the symptoms. Okay, she's feeling better, we can discharge her. And looking back on finally, because it took me a year, I didn't want to look at my medical records. When I left the hospital, my medical records were over 2,000 pages. And the lady at the clerk office, she said, "You sure you want the copy of this?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." Yes. She said, "You do know it's over 2,000 pages." "Yes, ma'am. I want all 2,000 pages of my documentation." And as I began to look into the different diagnoses, acute respiratory distress syndrome was one of my diagnoses, which they haven't talked about.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And this is all from being in the hospital for the 2 months. It's
Yes.
2,000 pages.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So after this, how do we get into the congestive heart failure on top of the sickle cell?
From my understanding and from talking to medical professionals, I was told that having a beta thalassemia, congestive heart failure, is one of the complications that come with it. That's what I was told.
Yeah. And the reason why is because your heart is trying to compensate for the decreased oxygen. So it's pumping really hard, but then it can't really pump hard enough to get the oxygen where it needs to be. So for a person that knows that they have this stuff, then you're going to be taking folate for your life. You're going to be doing the things, that you need to do to try to keep your red blood cells up. But for a person that does not know they have it and just walking around like, I just am short of breath all the time. Over time, that just wears your heart out, and your heart can't pump as well. And so when you can't pump as well, then it starts to let some blood kind of hang out there a little bit too long, then pump it all out, and then it stretches out the left ventricle, and that's congestive heart failure because it clogs up the right ventricle. So it's kind of complicated. But the point is, anytime you have anemia, then or untreated anemia for a very long time, you can have congestive heart failure. And that's why it's so important that when you start feeling bad, do not just write it off. You got to go and get checked out. Trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. Like you did, Rockwell.
Ms. Rockwell, you did a great job.
I do that now more because not only am I a patient, but I'm a patient advocate. And of course, I'm the example. So as an advocate, when I'm not feeling well, one of the things I do that a lot of people hate, I just turn off my phone because I know people are calling me for different things. And for me to get the proper rest that I need, and plus at night, I'm on my oxygen tank. I'm on 0.2 liters of oxygen for my heart failure as well as a folic acid. I'm on folic acid and Lasix for my heart failure to remove all of the excessive fluids off of my lungs on a daily basis. I'm only on 20 milligrams of Lasix, so it works out.
Okay.
That is treatment though. And you definitely, do you really have to have oxygen every night or just when you want to?
Every night.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, and it's so crazy because, after you see these medical records, after you see all 2,000 pages of them, the 2 months, and you get all the diagnoses and you're going through them, what was going through your head then about how you felt about what you just found out at 38 years old? How did you really feel about your diagnosis?
Honestly, I felt hopeless because when I first found out, I didn't even know what sickle cell was. And everything at that time I read online was not good at all. And I went to a local facility here because I started experiencing pain again. And because what I did was where I lived, I put in the nearest sickle cell facility. One down the street ended up popping up. So I went there. And when I walked in, I'm in pain or in crisis. Now I know I was in crisis. And the lady she came to me. She said, "How can I help you?" I said, I have sickle cell and I need help. She said, "Well, you look like you're over the age of 21. I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm 38 years old. She said, "We work with patients that are 21 and younger." So I said, "What am I supposed to do?" I went back to the doctor that diagnosed me, the oncologist hematologist that diagnosed me. And they recommended that I see a sickle cell specialist out of Augusta, Georgia, which is 4 hours away from where I live. And I end up getting an appointment with them. But at that time, I felt so hopeless. It's like, okay, we know that most sickle cell warriors don't live past the age of 21. Some patients are still being told that by medical professionals. But what do you do with the patients that are living longer than 21? So for a while, I felt hopeless until I created a platform on social media. And that's when I received an overwhelming number of support from so many different people. It's like, try this, do this, join our group, join. And I ended up meeting so many people virtually first before I actually met people online. And that's when I started developing hope. I started seeing people, and I read an article later that was over 90 years old in Nigeria with sickle cell disease. I read about a guy that was over 70 years old in Chicago with sickle cell disease. So that gave me a little hope, and to see other warriors out there advocating in executive positions. And I thought about T-Boss, who have sickle cell disease. One of my icons, I found out later, she had sickle cell disease. In the first coming to America, the mother, she had sickle cell disease.
Madge Sinclair.
Leo Leon.
Yep. Her name is Madge Sinclair.
Yes.
Yep.
So
oh wow.
There was inspiration that began to come, and it gave me hope. As a patient, it gave me hope as to you can live long. There are people that are out there doing great things with sickle cell disease. So, and that's first it was hopeless, and then I started seeing things that gave me hope, and it changed the trajectory of everything that I did.
And that's why we do this show. That's why we do this show. Living your life. There's somebody right now that's gonna see this show and be like, man, I think my uncle had sickle cell and my bones been hurting and I need to get checked out. But then they're going to listen and they're going to say they might feel hopeless too and living down to their disease. And you are giving us the ability to have that inspiration so that you can say, this is the sickle cell is not a death sentence. They be trying to give folks expiration dates all the time. If you live your life the way you need to live it and try to be eating healthy, try to decrease your stress, try to decrease your work where you have to work at all hours of the night and just do some other things and that makes a difference. It makes a big difference to change your life.
I think it's awesome, Ms. Rockwell, that not only did you just do all those things, you started gaining the hope. You took it a step further and you started your own organization, SWGA, Sickle Cell Awareness. SWGA Sickle Cell Awareness. What does it stand for? What does that mean?
SWGA it stood for two different things. When I first started SWGA, it stood for Support Wellness Giving Advocacy. Then as I began to partner with people from around the world, I changed it to Showing Worldwide Global Advocacy. That's what SWGA stands for. It's all about the advocacy. Yes. And I remember the first time I advocate, people from Belize and different parts of the world reached out to me because of the beta thalassemia.
Yeah, and that's the part that I think is so important too, is that everybody in America is tested at birth. But in other countries, you find out when things go bad. And that's why I think that's why your organization is so important. That's why, we're working with a company, Emmaus, that makes the drug Indari. We're working with them we're working with them in all over the world because other places don't have the luxury that we have to get universal testing. If you're in other countries, you just start hurting. And then people say, you don't have this, you don't have that. Then you end up in the hospital 5 and 6 times. Then that's when you get the diagnosis. That's when you start the preventive medicine to decrease the pain, the folate, and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? That's why Emmaus and Dari are doing this around the world because this is important. And your work is important.
Yeah, because you even took it a step forward, Ms. Rockwell. Did you know Dr. Hebert, she started her own YouTube channel? And what's the significance of this YouTube channel that's SWGA YouTube channel that you have? Because most people like us, we're on YouTube, but I think you have a different approach to it.
I do. It's two components to my YouTube channel. First is me documenting my story. Me documenting my journey of living with sickle cell as an adult. Not to discount any pediatric patients. They're not my target audience, but I don't exclude them. But there's a greater need for adult patients. And another thing I like about my channel is bringing on other people that can tell their story from a different perspective or a different point of view. I also do tips, exercises, foods that I eat that help with sickle cell, exercises that I do that help with the sickle cell, and traveling is one of my therapies. I love to travel, but definitely giving other people an opportunity to tell their story on my channel. Anytime I get a chance, I interview other warriors so they can tell their story as to what life is like living with sickle cell disease.
And I think that, because you also talked about keys to managing your health. Give an example when you say the keys to manage your health when you talk about that on your channel.
The biggest thing is knowing what your health issues are. And one of the things that I notice in the work that I do, that most patients, from what I've seen, and one of the warriors I used to advocate for, most patients don't die from sickle cell disease itself. They die from the complication of it because the medical professionals so looking at sickle cell disease and not looking at the other things. So it is important for warriors to know, and I not only have sickle cell disease, but I have congestive heart failure. I not only have sickle cell disease, but I have diabetes. I not only have sickle cell disease, I have acute chest syndrome. You have to look at the whole person when you're talking about your health. Definitely you want it water. Hydration. There are a lot of patients that I work with, they don't like to drink water, but water is very imperative to your health. Drinking water, trying to eat vegetables, because sometimes people are like, I don't want vegetables. It costs more. I understand all of that, but your health is more important than anything else. And one of the things that I love
Miss Rockwell,
Vegetables, no.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Miss Rockwell, because see that's where me and Mr. Spates have a lot of difficulty in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because I tell him no more Doritos, Mr. Spates.
I love Doritos. I love corn
Boy,
chips.
that thing,
Golly, man.
Doritos, boy.
balance.
Y'all already taking my life from me. Y'all already told me I was gonna be here past 11. Now I can't have Doritos.
Balance. You got to balance it. Make sure you stay
Yeah,
balanced.
I got it. I do.
I
balance.
know. He's really doing a lot better with his diet. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. This diet thing, people gotta recognize, and I'm gonna say something that I want you to mention on your show, your YouTube show. And look, y'all can be mad at me if you want to. Food ain't supposed to taste good. Food is fuel for your body. That's what it is. And if it happens to taste good, great.
Yeah, you lost a lot of us with that one.
I'm sorry, because food is fuel for your body. If it happens to taste good, then that's a plus. But kale don't taste good.
Yeah, it won't. Well,
It don't
I've
taste
had
good.
it.
It don't. But I'm gonna tell you one more thing about kale. This is a little funny thing, Miss Rockwell. Do you know who the largest, up until 2016, who was the largest buyer of kale in the United States? The largest buyer? It was Pizza Hut.
Wow.
Because they used it for the garnish on all of their buffets. Nobody even ate kale. Nobody ate kale.
Don't nobody like kale. Don't nobody like kale now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you gotta eat it. You just gotta eat it, man. You gotta eat
kale. I've had all kinds of kale. Asparagus. Y'all can keep that.
My
Brussels sprouts.
My recommendation, and this is because of the type of person that I am, have fun with it. Eat Mexican food. Eat Asian food. I love Mediterranean food. I love basmati rice. I love salmon. Caribbean food. Have fun with it. Go out and eat Indian food. Go out and eat Caribbean. A lot of us eat Caribbean food. Just don't. Go to the place.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like the rice and peas. I like rice and peas. Is that good for us?
It is.
That's okay.
It's got a lot of coconut milk in it.
Yes.
But it'll be all right.
Okay.
Doritos.
Well, I ain't gonna eat it every day, but just little things like that, that you can't have it. But man, y'all can stop pushing this kale on us. God, man, broccoli, everything,
and a Granny Smith
squash.
Mix it put it in a smoothie. Put that kale in a smoothie.
Oh, look, that's a good point, Miss Rockwell. That's a good point. I tell people all the time, you will decrease your risk of cancer by almost 60% if you eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day, 5 to 7. So how you gonna do that? Let me tell you how you do it. You put everything that you don't like in a blender. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's broccoli, kale, any of that, cucumbers, whatever. But if you put some pineapple, a banana, and a strawberry in it, it's all good. I don't care what you put in. You can put a ham hock in there. You put a ham hock in there, it still tastes like strawberry.
I prefer my ham hocks and my greens. But it's all about those things because Ms. Rockwell, you do so much too. You don't just do that. Like, tell us about your annual events that you host for education about it. What does that do for us?
It does a lot. The first and the main event that I am known for is called Sickle Cell Awareness Meeting, but it's entitled "Come Hub with Us." Hub is we are a hopeful, unique bunch of people. Come Hub with Us is the medical team that every sickle cell warrior needs. You need a sickle cell specialist. You need a primary care physician. You need a social worker, or a community health worker. You need your nurses. You need a caregiver. You need in America, you need insurance. You need nutrition or a dietitian to help you with that and give you different ways. And above all, what keeps a patient going is love. Knowing that they are loved. That's the best medicine anybody can receive, because I've had patients who didn't want to go to the hospital without knowing that I was there or somebody from their family was there. But the key thing to come up with us is we connect you to all of the medical professionals that you need. And I know most people like, well, I just like going to my sickle cell specialist. But you also need to see your primary care physician too. You also need to have a caregiver for those times that you're in a crisis. It may be family, it may not be family. Some people have spouses that are their caregiver, parents that they're caregivers. Identify who your caregiver is. Definitely need insurance in the United States because you get treated different when you go to a hospital or medical facility and you don't have any health insurance. So we do have insurance agency at these events as well as nutrition. People that want to do gardening, that's something I got into. Home gardening, growing fruits and vegetables. I have a raised garden bed. Definitely want to do those things yourself. Also, another event that I have is called
Kier ain't coming to your house. If you got a vegetable garden,
you quit looking for me. Okay, I'm not mad because she got a garden.
Yeah, okay,
I've seen a garden before, but it's just some more fruits and vegetables.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to, but I'm gonna get him there. We coming to your house.
Yeah, I mean, but what's wrong with some kale on a nice pork chop sandwich? What's wrong with that? It's on there. You said eat the kale.
How about this? You ain't gonna believe this. There's a restaurant in New Orleans that has a collard green and pork chop sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna take you down here.
I gotta come down to New Orleans for the eat. But like Miss Rockwell, could I possibly have? Just ask, like, would you be okay if I had like a piece of like say a piece of grilled chicken, or like a grilled chicken sandwich with lettuce and tomatoes on it?
That would be perfect.
That's perfect.
Grilled
okay, let's just do that then.
Grilled is better than fried.
Yeah. Yes.
Another
and a side of green beans is better than Doritos.
I won't have the Doritos on that.
Okay.
I won't do that. No, Miss Rockwell, we don't do that. But also tell us about your other event you were going to tell us about. Let's game plan for sickle cell.
Let's game plan for sickle cell, where we talk about the complications of sickle cell. I have a play sheet. I don't know what team you all are for, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I came up with the.
Oh,
she can go. This interview is completely over. Yeah, we can walk off.
But the let's game plan for sickle cell is a play sheet is what football players look at. The offense is what the complication is, and the defense is what the treatment is for that complication. So
you gonna start making me like the Dallas Cowboys with that.
But
look, here, Miss Rockwell, I didn't even notice this. What colors am I wearing today?
Blue and white.
Dallas Cowboy colors. I can't even believe that. See that? You done got me today.
214.
I can't stand it.
214. Another thing that inspired that were there were a lot of male warriors and female warriors as well that love football, the game of football. So that's what inspired the Let's Game Plan for sickle cell and having that play sheet, because they look at the play sheet all the time when football players have. Why not incorporate sickle cell information in there? And the ball is in the shape of a sickle cell. So you definitely want, and with that event, we have pharmaceutical companies that come in, Novartis Pharmaceutical Company, Be the Match, Oxbryta,
We gotta get Emmaus down there with you.
They are one of my in-kind donation donors, because we do the promotion. Yes, we have Oxbryta and Dacvio, all the different pharmaceutical. Definitely Be the Match. They come and talk about Sonar clinical research. They also talk about the different clinical trials that they have for sickle cell patients. So we bring all of those resources, and the patients get an opportunity to ask any question that they want. I'm pretty sure there's going to be questions about the new treatment options that have came out. I'm pretty sure they're going to have questions about that. But definitely come and ask all of your questions, because now we know hydroxyurea is not the only treatment for sickle cell now. There are so many other options and so many other alternatives now that people can ask questions. Of course, I've asked my medical team. My specialist said, well, Monica, with hydroxyurea is working for you, so now we're not going to change you. No, we're not going to change you. And we did talk about the bone marrow transplant. I past the age that is recommended to have a bone marrow transplant. So, and I'm not in the hospital as much. The last time I was in the hospital was 10 years ago. So I look at different ways to definitely manage my health. And I try to avoid going to the hospital at all costs. But I've been to the emergency room in that 10 years because I've traveled and end up picking up a virus or something. And I end up taking 2 weeks off and just taking care of myself. But definitely we have those. One of the events that I'm going to not do this year, but I'm gonna bring it back bigger and better next year, and that is our charity golf tournament. I love to play golf myself, and we're definitely
Do you? I do too.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Love it.
Okay. And you know what? You do so many other things. Like, so you have the hub, the Healthy Unique Bunch. Then you got, let's game plan for sickle cell. Then you got the charity event. But nobody understands that you also wrote a book too. You co-authored a book. And I think this is great. You co-authored a book, and it's called The Many Faces and Lives of Sickle Cell, a Global Collaboration. Oh, that a book is? Yes.
Yes.
You should be really proud of yourself, Ms. Rockwell, to find out at 38. You're sure doing a lot.
I am. That was one of the most important projects that I've been a part of. I love telling my story. My desire is always to inspire young people that you can live past whatever diagnosis or whatever age they give you. You set those goals, work on those goals, and let that be your motivation to keep going. Let that definitely be your motivation to keep going. And I'm so, that project was with so many different warriors around the world and heroes. You have so many different perspectives on this project. Doctors, patients, caregivers, all of them are in that book. And I love that. Definitely love my story in the book as well.
That's great. I think that's it right there. I tell you know what, Ms. Rockwell, before I let you go, is there anything that you want to say to anybody that's out here fighting this sickle cell battle? This is all these warriors. That'd be like a Rockwell-ism, something you stand by and live by.
My recommendation is find a hobby and let that be your daily motivation, because sometimes your hobby is your distraction from whatever you're going through. And it'll lift you up and it'll keep you inspired and wants you to live on and to keep going. Whatever you love doing, do it. If you love traveling, travel. If you love reading, read. If you love doing art, drawing, I'm not an artist. If you love drawing, do whatever makes you happy and healthy, and keep going. And know that you can always live a healthy and a full life with sickle cell, no matter what your genotype is.
I know that's right, Dr. Hebert. I think we found another one, man. I think that is awesome. Monica Rockwell, I think you just the epitome of what we stand for on this show. You check all the boxes, friend. You did that, and we want to thank you for coming on, living your life, and sharing your story, your testimony. Keep up all the great work. Round of applause for Monica Rockwell. Just keep up doing everything that you're doing.
That's right. Look, like we say, keep it hot, sister, because what you're doing is going to change the world. Let me tell you, 2024 is going to be the year. You got a lot of controversy out there with sickle cell, but we're going to need you, and we need everybody to get behind this groundswell, because we're starting a movement, and we need you.
Yes, I will be there. Count me in.
I know that's right. Thank you so much, Monica Rockwell. You've been fantastic. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to meet you. And Dr. Hebert, we appreciate you coming on, living your life. Hey, listen, everybody, listen. You can also, don't forget to like, subscribe to Living Your Life, man, when you don't miss another episode, because you might miss somebody like Monica Rockwell, and we don't want you to do that. Thank you so much, Monica Rockwell. We appreciate you coming on, living your life. We'll see y'all next time. God bless.